Hey everyone. So today I have my very first ever attempt at doing like a top, like Claire's favorite, um, which is a good start really because I'm going to do my top favorite albums, and maybe I should do my top favorite cats because she's going to be probably here a lot. I set up a new desk and they can walk right in front of it, so you'll be seeing a lot of that, I'm sure. But um, I'm going to do this in a way where I can still use like visuals because talking sometimes just gets boring. So it's going to be my top albums that are in my record collection. And when I say records, I mean actual records. I'm not talking CDs. I haven't bought CDs in a long time. So I mean, I have a lot of records. Not all of them are my favorite records of all time from each band, but they're just, like I said, the records that are within my collection that are the ones that I probably listen to probably the most, I guess. So, which I haven't really been able to do anyways because I need a new record player. I mean, it still works, but it's starting to play slow, which is no fun. Could probably get a new belt for it, but who knows. So I'm just going to begin, and it's going to be, like I said, just top albums. I'll probably talk about maybe some of my favorite songs off of the albums. And so here we go. Just going to do it. So, oh yeah, and they're in alphabetical order, so it's not like in any specific ranking. It's just my top albums because I have too many. I can't really say which ones are the best. Although the first one's going to be probably one of the best because I just love this album. Like, it's amazing. But so first off, we have the Arcade Fire Funeral. This album is probably one of the most listened to albums in my collection. Every single song on it to me is just phenomenal, and I love most of their other music, but this album just really sits with me. I would definitely put this album in a top five if I could make one, and I couldn't really say if it'd be number one or not, but still, top five is pretty good. This album is so amazing. Even better than the record that won them the album of the year, because that album has nothing on Funeral. The artwork's really good for it, and like I said, just every single song just blows me away, and I love listening to it so much. So that's the first one. Now, got some old, probably mostly old stuff in here. But this is actually my favorite album by this artist too, and we got some David Bowie. Bowie. We got some David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust, of course. It's just again a really awesome album, and I love Bowie. And it's actually very hard for me to choose between this album and Hunky Dory because Hunky Dory probably has my favorite songs on it, but as a whole, I love Ziggy Stardust more because there's just more songs on it that I like together. My two favorites off of Hunky Dory are the best songs of his that I think he has. So, but again, Ziggy Stardust is probably the best album he's done in my opinion. And I love Bowie. So, and then yeah, we have another Bowie. Of course, I said Hunky Dory. And the two songs that I love, which I don't know if it's like hipster to say or whatever, but my two favorites are, of course, Life on Mars and Queen Bitch. And mostly because they're on the soundtrack to The Life Aquatic, which is also like my favorite movie of all time, which I'll probably do something with a movie later. I just am doing this one because it was a suggestion from somebody, well, actually two people. So I'm going to do these ones first just to get those out of the way and give a little shout out to the people who were suggesting. Thank you. But yes, Hunky Dory is an amazing album. Listen to Bowie, everybody. Seriously. Now this one I don't know how anybody could not like this band, and I get really shocked when people tell me that they don't like this band, but everybody has their opinions. But honestly, how can you not love the Beatles? Um, Again, this is probably a rare choice. I don't get a lot of people who choose Let It Be as their favorite Beatles album, but I actually do. Let It Be is just beautiful. All the songs are great. And I know it's crazy because it was like during the chaos, but I don't know. The songwriting is just so good, and I just really love it. And the close second is probably Abbey Road, and then I don't know, probably one of the really old ones with like all the covers, because those ones are a lot of fun too. But I think Let It Be, and even Let It Be Naked's actually really good too. I wish I had that on vinyl, but I'm not even sure if I can find that anywhere. But I'm just glad that I have most of the actual albums by them, finally. It took me a long time. Now this is a newer artist who, I don't know, was unique for a while, and not a lot of people liked him at first. He kind of had a strange voice, and he was kind of like a little bit like Bob Dylan-esque. He like writes very like a poetic style, and his lyrics are just amazing. Actually, I always called him a lyrical genius, because I kind of felt like he still is, or was maybe. He doesn't write nearly as good as he used to, but this album is one of the best ever by him, and that is Bright Eyes, Lifted, which I'm not going to say the whole album title, because if you know the album, then you know the whole thing, and you can just read it backwards if you want to. But this album, although it's very slow, and it is one of his earlier ones where it's pretty angsty at times, but it just has a lot of the better songs that I love. Like, the first half of this album is the best, in my opinion. Towards the end, it gets a little veered off, but it's so top heavy. At least listen to the first half of this record, because it's phenomenal. But Bright Eyes is actually really good. Bright Eyes, I had an obsession with Bright Eyes for a very long time. Conor Oberst, like I said, was a lyrical genius to me, and I listened to all those albums, especially like the whiny ones, and I can't really say they helped me get through anything, but they were just good to listen to for what they were. But definitely check out his earlier stuff and his later stuff and his other projects, like his solo projects, because, again, he's just really good at writing music. But yeah, so that's Bright Eyes, Lifted. And hang on, I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. I can't talk so much. I'm going to edit that part out. Because I'm getting into editing now. If I even like this video, it's getting pretty long. It's getting up there. I still have a lot more to go. I should probably speed up. But here's a classic. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, which I like them without Neil Young, but Neil Young's also one of my favorite musicians, and I feel like they are not the same without him, even though, like Crosby and Stills, they're really good, but Neil Young is just also phenomenal. And this album actually has one of probably my favorite songs of all time, which is actually a very kind of like depressing song, and it kind of made an appearance in, not the song itself, but talking about it, made an appearance in one of my old videos, and that one was called Helpless. But this album is actually really, really good. I don't know a lot of other, like, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I mostly listen to this one, but the other stuff is pretty good too, especially like some of their solo work is really good. Not just Neil Young's, because everybody knows Neil Young's is good, but yeah, check that out if you are interested in that kind of stuff, because it's awesome. And then we also have Bob Dylan, and this one was actually pretty close tied to, I actually chose Highway 61 first, and then I remembered how much I loved Another Side of Bob Dylan, because I just used to listen to this one all the time when I was driving around, because I used to drive around and just like take pictures randomly and do like kind of fun stuff like that. But this album is actually good all the way through, and it's just, I know they're like just really old fun songs, but it's really fun. I love it. And then we do have Bobby D's Highway 61 Revisited. And I actually just enjoy this album mostly because it's when he went electric, and I actually am one who loved whenever he went electric. He had a lot of great songs off of this record that are probably some of my favorite, and some that are just really quirky, and, well, I guess all the songs are kind of like that, but just this one specifically, they're just a lot of fun. Oh, everything's fun. I just say everything's fun all the time. But, actually, this next one is another band that I was really obsessed with for a very long time, and I love almost every record they have, except for, like, the newer stuff they've been doing isn't really for me, and I actually used to idolize these guys a lot, because they just did a lot of really cool things, and I'm kind of, I mean, I still respect their music, but they went through some changes, I guess I could say, and I still love them. But it's just not, I don't know. It's hard to say. But this is my favorite album by them, The Flaming Lips, Clouds Taste Metallic. It just is one of their earlier works, and I just love the noisy and Wayne Coyne's lyrics to some of these songs are really great. But yeah, this is definitely probably my favorite. Out of the newer ones, I'd probably say, which I wish I had on vinyl, I'd probably say out of the newer ones, At War with the Mystics would be at the top then, because it has most of the better songs from the newer era, in my opinion. So, but again, I don't have that album. I wish I did. And then this is another one, which is not my favorite album by them, but is up there, and it's actually one of the newer albums from them, and which is awesome. And it's actually whenever they got kind of bigger. And this one is Modest Mouse, Good News for people who love bad news. And this is a really fun record. It had their big hit, Float On, which everybody knows, even all the bros know, because I learned whenever I went to the Modest Mouse concert that a lot of bros love Modest Mouse. But yeah, this is a really good album. Probably maybe my second favorite of theirs. I think the first favorite I'm gonna have to say is The Lonesome Crowded West. It was actually the first one I listened to. It was the first one I bought, and I just had a big connection with it because I used to listen to it constantly. So I think that's definitely my top choice of Modest Mouse records. But again, Good News is really good as well. Oh, and now we're getting into my angsty years. I may not look like I'd be into that kind of stuff, which I don't put, I don't label people and whatnot, so whatever. But believe it or not, I used to be really into punk music, and I used to be in a punk band. I used to drum in a punk band, and I got real into some like really hardcore punk music, and I still love a lot of it, and that's kind of where this all came from. My old bandmates introduced me to a lot of awesome stuff, and I wish I had some of it on vinyl to actually show, and I wish I had some of my favorite albums from some of the bands, because some of them are just amazing, and I love punk music. It's really just energetic. But this one's probably one of the most energetic, and it's the most strange, and it actually has one of my favorite drummers. He's just an amazing musician, and he's very tight, and if you just listen to them, because his drumming is I wouldn't say flawless. I don't know if anybody's flawless, but I mean, come on. We're talking about Refused here. These guys were just out of this world, and they were different, but they were just super loud and super heavy and just super fast and awesome. And this is another one. pretty much love every song on it. It's especially the beginning, like the first half of this record is just so fun to listen to. Like I remember being on tour with my old band listening to this record and the singer like screaming in the van like the words because he's just like wailing them into like a paper towel tube or maybe a roll of paper towels. But Refused is really good. They don't have a lot of albums, but The Shape of Punk to Come is one of the best albums of all time. Maybe if I was to put it in like a top, I'd probably put it in like top 10. But yeah, definitely awesome. And wow, I am really getting long here. Hopefully YouTube really did get rid of my 15-minute limit. But here's another classic. Who doesn't love Morrissey? We got the Smiths. I don't really have a favorite record from the Smiths because I mostly just listen to like greatest hits, which is I don't really do that with many bands. But most of the Smiths songs that I really really love are the hits, so it's really easy to listen to. But this one only has a few of my favorites. I'm just gonna say my favorite songs are definitely Ask and um, probably This Charming Man. Those two are just really awesome, and I really wish I was in a band that would cover those. I'm gonna probably try to get Dan and Kate to cover them at some point. But the Smiths are amazing, and I think everybody probably knows that too. And also, everybody probably knows how awesome Bruce Springsteen is. And this is definitely my top album of Springsteen's. Born to Run is just, it's probably his best work. And the saxophone, Clarence Clemens. I wish you were still here. Seriously. But I think it's your nephew. He's killing it though, so awesome. But I think Thunder Road is probably, it's strange because it's not really a love song, but it's, I don't know, he just loves singing about cars and making it emotional. But Thunder Road and Born to Run are probably my favorite songs of his, and just an amazing album, which, again, everybody probably should know. And then this is probably my favorite hardcore band of all time, and I just actually am very influenced by them. They're all really good musicians, and I just lost my thing. Hopefully I'm still recording. There it is, sorry. Doing this stuff all in one take, it's getting crazy. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm just super influenced by them. The lyrics are just real powerful and meaningful and everything. I wish I had some of the early records because those are my best ones. This isn't even one of my favorites. But Strike Anywhere is absolutely amazing. And my favorite record of theirs is probably a tie between three of them because they're just so good. But Changes the Sound is amazing. It's actually the first one I've ever had of theirs, and it's just very raw. But I also loved whenever they got into their real polished sound, so it made them sound like real poppy and like punk. And Exit English is, again, I want to say flawless, but I gotta stop saying that because I can't say flawless. But Exit English and Dead FM, which is one of their newer ones, they're just really awesome. So good. One of my favorite bands of all time. And here we have another old classic. And this is my favorite album of theirs. And they're just really strange. And I actually enjoy his solo stuff. And I don't know, everything David Byrne does, I guess, is just really cool. But The Talking Heads' Sphere of Music is my favorite album by The Talking Heads. I've listened to this album so much, I'm probably not even able to play it anymore because it's just really fun when I'm cleaning the house. And I just like clean the house and just dance because all the Talking Heads music is very easily danceable too. And try it when you're at work, especially if you work retail. It's real fun when you're working on things. I wouldn't say this next one is my favorite album by theirs, but it's different compared to their other ones. And not many ways lyrically, it's still like lyrically the kind of same style, but they were very like kind of acoustically driven and just lyrically driven, but then they went to this like real pop sound, and they were pop before, but they were like acoustically pop, so it was different. And now it's very just like, I'm gonna say like synth pop almost, because they use a lot of synthesizers in this one. But Tegan and Sarah, this album is phenomenal. Sainthood. It's just very fun, and I love that polished sound a lot of the times when it's done right, and this one really does it well. Um, Again, not my favorite album. I'd say my favorite album is probably The Con, and this one maybe second. It's hard to say. So Jealous is one. Everybody always says that I'm crazy for not picking that one, but I love that one too. But I don't know, I think I listen to these two a little bit more. So that's another one. And then this one isn't just actually probably the only album of like a supergroup that I've ever really chose, and I just love having this album. I can just always look at it. This is another one I listen to all the time, and of course we got the Traveling Wilburys. I just uh, especially at work, I love listening to this album at work. It just motivates me, and it's something almost everybody enjoys. And I actually always sales when I play this at work, because everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, is that Roy Orbison? Oh my gosh, is that Tom Petty?" Like, there's just it's a super group, not the best super group of all time. Honestly, sorry anybody else who does it. I don't think you can do it as good as the Traveling Wilburys. You can try, and you might succeed someday. But good luck. If you do it, a thumbs up to you. And then, okay, I'm down to the last two. And this one, I think I might, no, this one's not my favorite. I was thinking about it, but then I remembered how much I love the one album. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco is actually top 5 for me. Has some of the best songs on it, and I wish I had that one on vinyl too. If I ever find it, I am going to get that, because I need to have that one in my collection. But I do at least have A Ghost is Born, which is probably my second favorite. And it's a double LP, and it's actually on 180 gram vinyl too, which I have a couple of the other ones on there, but I just thought to mention that on this one. I don't know why. But this one is just, I can't even really say much about it. It's just fun to listen to. It's another one I listen to a lot when I'm at work, and a lot when I'm at home. I listen to this record a lot when I'm just, again, cleaning. I listen to music. My mother does that too. She listens to music when she cleans, and that's like the best time too, I guess. But last is another group, well, guy, I guess. Can be a group sometimes. But he's actually one of my favorite musicians, very influenced by him, love almost everything he does, and he just is a really cool person. And that is Neil Young. And I wish I could get my hands on my favorite record by him, but I'm afraid that's probably never going to happen, because it like doesn't exist anywhere pretty much. But Harvest Moon by Neil Young is definitely my favorite, and it's not like most of his stuff, which is crazy for some people, and to not pick an album that has Crazy Horse on it, it's kind of strange too. But I mean, of course, don't get me wrong, I love all those albums, but to me, Harvest Moon is just really beautiful, and I love listening to it, and I listen to that one constantly. And again, Neil Young is just very inspiring to me, and so that's going to wrap up my top albums that are in my record collection. Which there's a lot more I could pick, but 17 of them. Top 17. Claire's top 17 records. Took me 25 minutes. I hope some of you are actually sitting through this video and then afterwards saying, why did I sit through that video? Oh, why? Because you just got awesome music to listen to. If you haven't listened to any of those, listen to them, because they're amazing. And so that's part one of the suggestion from the two people. They also wanted to hear what kind of music I'm into, which I did mention a little bit in here. But I'll do another video that talks about all my past bands and projects that I've been working on. So that'll be a two-parter for you guys who made that suggestion. So thanks again. And enjoy my almost 30-minute video of talking about music. Who would have thought I could do that? Thanks, guys.